Hi everybody, Rad Mom here. Welcome back to the garden. We are going to be talking about right versus left. We are going to be talking about the trans issue. Somebody said down in my comments recently that anyone who is left-leaning with a conscience needs the right to win on this issue. I want to let it be known that when reality wins on this issue, that will not be a victory for the right wing who want us barefoot and pregnant and back in the kitchen. They sure are spinning it that way, though.
Lila is 19, a trans woman born and raised in Florida, but she's in the midst of her transition. So to get a new driver's license reflecting her new name and gender identity, Lila says she'd have to go to a different state.
What we have here is a boy who is 19, calling himself Lila, who lives in Florida, who cannot get new documents, his driver's license specifically, with a female listing.
Frustration. It makes me feel frustrated.
He's frustrated because he's been barred from creating legal fiction to reinforce his mistaken identity.
That the place that I was raised no longer accepts people like me.
So you see how manipulative that is. They want you to feel so bad for this kid, which I do, but not for the reasons they were hoping for.
The director of Florida's Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles sent this letter to county tax collectors all over the state last week.
This law clarifies gender and sex as historically and commonly understood synonyms.
He said gender is a synonym for sex at birth.
Permitting an individual to alter his or her license to reflect an internal sense, which is neither immutable nor objectively verifiable, can frustrate the state's ability to enforce laws. That's just true.
Undermines the purpose of an identification record and can frustrate the state's ability to enforce its laws.
Not will, but can. It can frustrate the state's ability to enforce laws. Authority is necessary to maintain. It's only by agreement we all understand and respect laws. So, of course, those charged with enforcing them are going to want to maintain that. In addition to, in this particular instance, actually being factually correct. Anybody more than 20 years old knows that's true. And I, for one, am not such a victim of the cult of youth to stop me from saying I am 40. They used to be synonyms. And these semantic games are getting so stale.
The trans community sees it as yet another assault on their rights.
But who actually gets a human representative? A sympathetic human representative.
All the laws they're passing, they're further restricting the way trans people can present in society.
Don't you just feel so sad for this poor, frustrated kid? I mean, yeah, because of course you do. That is the point. No one is in the wrong body.
They want to erase us legally.
It's a legal fiction you're creating.
Restrict what we can do.
Meaning the authority need not support your delusion?
And basically turn us into second-class citizens.
Those needing mental health care are pretty much left to rot, yeah.
And I can't live like that.
It's tragic. You're still not a girl, though.
Here I am, the big bad trans person. Do you really think that I pose a threat to society?
You alone may pose no threat, but the idea we ought to collectively support your delusion and others like you does. But you see how manipulative this is. This average news segment, because it's completely biased against the material facts of this kid's situation.
Is this culture war really worth it?
This is not a culture war. This is a reality war. On that note, really quick, please subscribe to the channel so that we can all work together to bring feminism back into reality, because as you can see, we desperately need it. We are fighting over the correct interpretation of reality, which is not liberal or conservative.
Since 2018, trans people have been able to get their driver's licenses changed in Florida if they had a letter from a doctor attesting to their gender change. That policy is officially rescinded.
Why the policy existed in the first place is not explored. It was an augmentation of, the previously existing system that Lila had hoped to capitalize upon.
Lila says she will continue her studies in college and then move to a trans-friendly state when she graduates.
I would rather die standing than live kneeling.
Why is facing facts seen in this way? There's nothing wrong with being a boy. That itself does not need addressed by the law, by doctors. You're the one who is bothered by that, but it doesn't need fixing.
So I'm going to continue as I am.
Thanks for watching.
This news piece is so incredibly biased. And the bias is so obvious because what they're talking about is imaginary. No one is in the wrong body. There are no trans people who need their rights protected in this way. So this bleeding heart bullshit that they're pulling is obvious bullshit. You know, oh, they're suffering so terribly under this draconian Republican state administration, right? And the right are perfectly happy to play this game, mind you. They are perfectly happy to say, oh yeah, sex does exist, and look like the assholes. Because they know that reality is not going to change, and inevitably they're going to be the ones who will be able to say, we were right. Yeah, but that's... Even a broken clock is right twice a day, fellas. This is not a left-right issue. This is a reality versus fantasy issue. This is a material facts versus the interpretation of them issue. And personally, I'm not going to sit around and let the right take credit for reality. I have been Rad Mom. Thank you so much for joining me. Come back at the top of the hour for the live stream and discussion. Right wing, left wing, everyone is welcome. The only rule is you have to agree to disagree. Thanks so much for sticking with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.